Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to this card making project. In this episode we're going to revisit the Die Cuts with a View Jet Black Stack, and we're going to make a gorgeous black and white with a hint of gold card. And everything I use I shall put in the description box below. If there's any links, they will be there. Okay, so what I've done is I've started off with, it was a 12 by 12 piece of card that was in the stack. Now, if any of you have watched the episode that I've done the flick through for the stack, you'll see all the different colourways that are in there. Again, I'll put a link for that at the bottom. So I've taken a 12 by 12 piece of card from the stack, I've cut it into A4, and then I've scored it to make an A5 card, folded it, and that's what I've ended up with. So don't forget to use your card from the stacks as blanks to make your cards, because it is stand-upable. It's hard enough, and that's with no toppers or anything or inserting. It will stand up, and it is really useful. So what I thought was, because everybody likes the inserts, I've taken one of the papers from the stack, and it was one of the white papers with the little hearts on. I've literally cut it to size, and then I've taken a piece of white card and I've just stamped in the middle of it with a stamp that I've got. I will put the details for that at the bottom because I just can't remember off the top of my head. But it was a set of stamps and dies that you get in a little pack, and they're brilliant, really useful. I've made some tails out of coordinating card, again from the stack, and that's my insert. Just to give it a little bit of fancy rather than just having a plain old white insert panel. So I've added tape on the back of it, and I'm just going to add that in the centre. Now, I know somebody will ask about, because I've added a little bit of embellishment to it, it still folds flat and it will still go in your envelope and it stands up still, because I know there's a bit more weight to that with having the extra card, but it doesn't affect the actual card itself. So next, what I've done is, using a basket weave embossing folder, I've just embossed a piece of white card, and I've added double-sided tape on the back of it, and we're going to add this as our first layer. Now, this embossing folder is, if my memory serves me correctly, is oh dear, it's a Sheena Douglas Creative Companions. No, I shall put the details at the bottom. Oh dear, I think it's my age. I'm forgetting everything today. That's terrible. So I'm just placing the embossed panel on the front of the card like that. Now the next thing that I've done, I've taken some gold card. Now this was a Spellbinders die, and I've run it through the die cutting machine and I've embossed it, and I'm going to be placing that literally, see, I'm using my favourite word again, I'm going to be popping that in the centre. I've already added double-sided tape on it. Now the tape has only been added in the centre of the die, if you can see that. I've left these sides clear because I've got something that I'm just going to slip underneath the sides, and I've already pre-prepared these. So I've taken some card from the stack and I've made lots of tails. Now I've used a die to make these, and then I've used scissors to cut it in half. I'll put the details at the bottom for what I've used, and I've done it in two sizes to be able to make the smaller tails and then sat them on top of the bigger tails. Everything is from the pad apart from the gold card that I've used just to enhance the bigger ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the black and white tails and I'm going to add them to the under section of the gold layer that we've just added, and I'm going to add them at either side, one over the top of the other, and then I'm going to do the same for the other side, starting in the middle, and then I'm overlapping the other two just slightly over the top. I've already added the tape on these because I knew you wouldn't want to watch me adding the tape on all of this. Might get a little bit boring for you. So I've added the tails at either side. The next thing, I've got the slightly larger tails, and these are in 3 layers. So I've got the base card, the gold, and then the OXOX. On the back I've got my tape, but I've also got a little foam pad because that will lift the actual tail just slightly. I'm going to position these on top of the gold in exactly the same way that I've just done the ones underneath. The centre one first, and then the 2 outside ones, and I'm doing that at both sides. So in all there's 3 each side, and then this is the last one. Now from the Jet Black Stack, they've got some great sentiments in there that are the size of the project scrapbooking items that you can get. And this one says love. I've cut it down and I've cut it to match the inner section of the Spellbinders Elegance die. I'm sure it's called the Elegance die. And I was thinking of Crafter's Companion for the basket weave. Isn't it funny how things come back to you when you've stopped thinking about it? So that's part of one of the sentiments that's in the Jet Black Stack. I've already added it onto 3D foam, and I'm going to position it over the centre of the tails that we've just added. Oops. And then that will sit and cover up the actual, whoops, just add that a bit better there. That will cover up the ends of our tails so that you don't see them, like that. So that bit's covered all the little flags. Now lastly, what I've done is I've taken a scrap of ribbon and I've twisted it in the middle. I've added it onto a paper pin, a paper clip, and then I've die cut a heart and stamped it with the same stamp that we've got on the insert. Now the die for the heart and the stamp is all in one set. Again, the details will be at the bottom. But I've used the gold card. The ink that I've used is a Stays On ink, because with it being gold card it can be quite slippy when you're stamping. So I tend to sort of wedge my elbows on the table and then bring my arms down to stamp, and I'll try and do it so that everything is held together so it doesn't slip. Because if it slips, then you have to start again, really, because it looks a bit messy or you've double stamped it or something. So I tend to sort of wedge everything together and then do it quite quickly and then bring it up, because the Stays On is ideal for all your metallic cards and papers, your pearlescent ones, things like that, because it doesn't rub off. So all I've done then is I've added the heart with glue onto the twist of ribbon, and the ribbon is literally a twist. I don't know if you can see that. I literally have just twisted it so that it's looks like a bow, and that is a good way to use up your scrap ribbon. A lady actually sent me a message a while ago about using scrap ribbon, and this I think is a brilliant way to use it. So I'm leaving the paper clip on because it adds to the effect, and it was only a general use paper clip. It wasn't a special one or anything, but it does make it look quite effective, just that. So I'm going to add that just at the top of the card, just to finish it off, and press it down just so that it will stick. There we go. And that's my card finished with. It is a quick and easy card. It still stands up. We've got the nice insert inside it, and it looks really elegant with a touch of gold, not too much. And I'm sure anybody who received that would absolutely be thrilled. So I'd like to thank you very much for watching. I hope you'll tune in again to see another episode. If you've enjoyed this, please give me the thumbs up. I love hearing from you. I absolutely adore reading your comments, and you know, I always get back to everybody. It gives me a thrill to know that I've inspired just one person, then that's brilliant. But if I've inspired more, then that's, you know, more than I could ever expect. So please feel free to comment. Please feel free to ask questions. If there's anything you'd like to see, I'll do my best to show you. And I'll look forward to seeing you next time. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again.